the things I was thinking about in relationship to video games was, you know, I've read critiques of video games where people complain about young people generally being engaged in video games to the expense of having a real life. And then I was thinking, I don't know if you know about Edward, I think his name is Edward Castronova. Now he's an economist who studied video games. And he did this quite a while ago. I think it's got to be more than 10 years ago now. But he made the claim at that point that one of the big, massive online player games, I think it was World of Warcraft, but that might be wrong, was like the 20th largest economy in the world. Really, not in any fake way. Partly because you could sell artifacts that you were producing on eBay, for example, but also partly because people traded within it. And like there was no reason to assume that the additional level of abstraction that that video game represented was necessarily any more abstract than what we were already doing in economies. So then you could ask yourself, for example, think about this. Is it more real to lead a band of adventurers through a complex mythological reality in an online game, or to work at McDonald's? Now you'd say, well, to work at McDonald's because that's real, but let's think about that for a minute. So exactly why is it real? I mean, first of all, McDonald's couldn't exist unless it was nested in a whole bunch of other things, right? So it has to be nested in a functional capitalist economy, and that has to be nested inside a functional political system, and then there's all sorts of other preconditions in terms of material supply and so forth that have to be in place before you're able to work there and receive tokens for your labor. Okay, so the same thing applies to the video game. And you might say, well, how do you determine which of those is real? And I would say, well, maybe one of the ways of determining whether a game is real is to what degree do you practice a wide range of the subsets of skills that would be transferable to other games while you're playing that game. And I think you could make a case that if you're playing a very complex video game, that the activities that you're engaging in, which involve leadership and cooperation and communication and problem solving, are actually a more comprehensive subset of the skills that you would have to develop to work in the world as a complex place than what you would pick up at McDonald's. Now, you know, obviously you can argue about that, but it's not self-evident. So,